Even if you say so, I already terminated the contract for this apartment, okay?
Huh? What do you mean?
Mom said we should terminate the lease, so we went to terminate the contract together while you were on your business trip.
No way! I can't be with these crazy people anymore. My mother-in-law, Kate, seemed to think that if she terminated the contract for this apartment, I would give up.
Now, you have no choice but to move in with us.
But I will never ever give in. I don't want to.
What are you talking about? You're his wife, so you have to.
Then, I'll divorce him. My name is Sarah, and I'm a 30-year-old office worker. My husband, Travis, and I got married a year ago. The companies that we both work for are business partners, and we began working together several times and became pretty close after that. We started seeing each other privately as well, and we began to date and we got married a year later. We lived happily even after our marriage. Travis is a positive and funny man, and we have a lot of laughs every day when we live together. I thought that I married a wonderful person, and I was very happy in my new married life. But I had no idea that Travis had such a side to him. 6 months after Travis and I got married, we spent the New Year's at the parents-in-law's house for the first time. Until then, I didn't have much interaction with my in-laws, as we had only visited them briefly when we occasionally went over to their home. But my first visit on the New Year's Day brought me a glimpse into their true nature. At the New Year's at my in-laws' house, my parents-in-law and sisters-in-laws were all there. I felt as if I was completely part of their family reunion. The sister-in-law, Ashley, is still single, and the other sister-in-law, Anne, has a husband and a little son named Tom. Anne had brought Tom with her, but her husband had returned to his parents' house. I have never had any bad impressions about my parents-in-law until now. I thought they were cheerful and easy to talk to, just like Travis. So I thought that we could have a normal and pleasant conversation, but it didn't turn out the way I had expected.
Oh, Sarah, can you help me a little?
Oh, yes. My mother-in-law, Kate, called me into the kitchen, so I hurried over. Then, Kate's smile suddenly disappeared and she gave me a cold stare.
You're so slow. Normally, you should have insisted on helping around here on your own instead of me having to ask you to help me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I panicked since I thought that I had offended her. So I tried my best to help around the family and regain Kate's trust again. But Kate continued to say harsh words towards me.
You know, stop behaving like a spoiled child just because Travis is nice to you.
Huh?
Usually, after you get married, you work yourself into making a family. But why is it that you're continuing to work at the company?
Well, Travis actually allows me to continue working at the company.
That's because you whined for it, isn't it?
You are a terrible wife. You come over to our house and you just sit in the living room and don't come to help us at all. I can't believe that you only do what you want to do and just annoy Travis. No way. I was feeling really bad because Kate kept on saying harsh things like this to me. Then one of the sister-in-law, Ashley, came to the kitchen. Thank God. Ashley and I had friendly conversations in the past, so she would be on my side. But Ashley says something which I never thought she would say.
Wow, Sarah's cooking looks really bad. What? It looks so different from Mom's food. Does Travis always eat stuff like this? Seriously, it's like leftover food. I didn't expect to be told such a thing, so I was shocked. Not only Kate, but also Ashley has said very harsh things to me. They had never done that before. Why did they both suddenly become so mean? The New Year's gathering at my parents-in-law's house, which I thought would be a pleasant time, instantly became a painful time for me. Even after the food was brought in and the feast began, I didn't enjoy it at all. Kate and Ashley mainly made conversations with topics that only my in-laws would understand. Travis doesn't seem to think anything about me feeling left out and not being included in the conversation, or doesn't even seem to be aware of the situation. Kate grimaces when she sees me looking bored because I can't get into the conversation. And when someone's drink ran out, she would order me by saying, "Here, bring the drinks quick." No one ever gave Kate a second thought about her ordering me like her servant, and it was as if I deserved to bring the drinks to all of them. And finally, it was over. Travis was so drunk that he said,
I'm going to stay here.
but I didn't want to do that, so I shoved him into the car and drove home myself. The next day, I talked to Travis about what happened at my in-laws' house. Hey, Kate and Ashley were being very harsh to me.
What? No way, that's not true. We were all having a good time together.
You're the only one who thinks so. They said a lot of terrible things to me in the kitchen, you know.
Really? I don't think they would do something like that.
Are you saying that I'm lying then?
Well, I mean, I'm a little hungover and I have a headache, so can we talk about this another time?
Huh? Come on. As soon as Travis realized that it would be too much of a hassle, he dropped the subject and ran away into his room. After that, when I tried to talk to him about it, he just brushed it off and wouldn't listen to me and take it seriously. Then one day, Travis suddenly said,
We're going to get together at my sister's house next time.
I was surprised to hear him say such a thing when I haven't been able to properly discuss the events at what had happened at my in-laws' house. Why?
It's Tom's birthday. We all have to celebrate together, don't we? That's why you've got no choice but to be there.
No way. Travis forced me to participate into the birthday party without asking if I wanted to or not. Moreover, I had to choose the birthday present for Tom. Travis stubbornly refused to pick out the present because he was busy with work. I was busy with work too. I did a lot of research during my work break and thought about what kind of gift I should give to Tom. I wanted Tom to be happy with his present. With that in mind, I did my best to choose the gift. A month later, Anne's son's birthday party was held. We each gave a birthday present to Tom. Wow, this is what I wanted! Apparently, he liked the gift I had chosen for him. I was relieved, and at the same time happy to see Tom being happy with his present. Anne says, Thanks, Travis. You're so busy with work, but you prepared such a good present for Tom. I thought that Travis would give her a proper explanation, but he started to say something I didn't expect.
Oh, don't worry about it at all. It's only natural to do a lot of present research for Tom, isn't it? I'm glad he liked the gift. I picked it out just for him.
I couldn't believe it, but Travis took the credit for it. And as I looked at Travis in shock, Kate opened her mouth. Hey, Sarah, what are you doing? Hurry up with the cake. What? Cake? What are you talking about? I
I responded to her, not understanding what was suddenly being said. Then Kate said something that had surprised me.
The birthday cake! I told you to prepare it for today.
What? I didn't hear anything about that.
Huh? What kind of wife are you? Don't tell me that you didn't prepare it.
Well, it's what I've been saying. I didn't hear anything about a birthday cake.
You mean you didn't prepare the cake?
Yes. My in-laws all looked at me with disappointed looks.
My goodness, you're truly a useless wife. It's my own grandchild's birthday, but...
Then Tom, who had found out that there was no cake, began to cry.
I wanted to eat cake.
Seeing this, Kate consoled Tom.
I'm sorry. It's normal for you to be sad. It's your birthday after all. It's all because of someone who forgot to get it.
When Kate said that, Anne blamed me.
You're awful, Sarah. Don't you like Tom? How could you be so mean to him?
Why am I the one being told this? I looked at Travis in distress. As expected, Travis would know that Kate had never asked me to do such a favor for her. But to my surprise, Travis also began to take Kate's side.
You are a really lousy wife, you know that? You did things to hurt my family.
No way. As Travis said that, Ashley began to open her mouth.
Thank goodness I bought a cake for such a time like this.
Saying that, she brought the cake. Tom's gloomy face lit up all at once.
Yay! It's my cake! That's my daughter. You've been expecting that this would happen.
Kate praised Ashley with a wide grin on her face. Then to that, Ashley also said,
Sarah is really out of it, so I prepared it just in case.
It was at this moment that I realized that the two of them had set me up. In other words, they were deliberately saying these things to make me look bad.
I really wondered what would happen when Sarah said that she forgot to buy the cake. As a wife, she's totally lousy.
Since they all blamed it as my fault, there was not a single person here who was on my side. Then Travis said something outrageous.
You made Tom even cry too. So as a punishment, you better go home today.
Huh?
Duh. Don't think that the one who did nothing and caused a lot of trouble will get a free meal and a cake.
When Travis said that, Kate, Anne, and Ashley also asked and forced me to go back home. So I had no choice but to leave. Anne's house is quite far from ours, so I took a cab to the bus station and then took a 30-minute bus ride to our home. I really shouldn't have gone if it was going to be like this. And I was the one who picked out the present while I was at work. I wish I could have that time back. And that day, Travis didn't come home, but stayed the night over at his parents' house. The next day, Travis came back. I tried to ask him what the hell was going on, but he said he wanted to talk to me.
You know, I heard that you were harassing Kate and Ashley.
Huh? What are you talking about?
You can't get away with this. And the same goes for that birthday cake issue. Mom said that she asked you to get it for that day. It must have been on purpose that you forgot such an important thing. Do you hate my family that much? You really are a terrible wife.
I couldn't believe what he was saying, and I also couldn't believe that he was taking Kate's side. Now wait a minute, you don't believe me at all? And if you're going to say that, you've done terrible things too. You acted as if you had picked out the gift for Tom when it was me.
It was a gift from the both of us, so I didn't really care when I was telling Anne about it.
I couldn't believe what Travis was saying. In other words, Travis just wants to show his good side to his own family. And yet, he puts all the trouble on me. I couldn't feel any affection or love for him because of this. If things continue like this, I will consider for a divorce. While I was thinking that, an event happened right away that made me decide to do so. I was on a business trip for about 3 days at that time, so I didn't know that something terrible had happened during that time. When I returned home from my business trip, Travis's belongings were packed into the cardboard boxes. I had no idea why this was happening, so I called Travis quickly. He immediately hung up the phone saying,
I'm on my way. I'll be home soon.
I was so frustrated, not knowing what the hell was going on, when he finally came back home. But somehow, Kate, Anne, and Ashley were there as well. Hey Travis, what is the meaning of this? Why are all of your stuff in these cardboard boxes? And why is Kate, Anne, and Ashley here? I asked, to which Travis replied with a grin on his face.
We're moving out.
Huh? Move where?
It's obvious, isn't it? We're going to move to my mom's.
Huh? Hey, wait a minute now. Why are you making such a decision all on your own? I shouted angrily, and Kate began to open her mouth.
You don't have the right to make decision about this house. You should stop being a child, grow up, and follow what Travis decides.
Kate said so, but this had nothing to do with me being a child. I'm not going to give in this time. What are you even saying? Travis and I are husband and wife, so we have to discuss and decide properly on our own. When I said that, Kate looked dumbfounded.
Even if you say so, I already terminated the contract for this apartment, okay?
Huh? What do you mean?
Mom said we should terminate the lease, so we went to terminate the contract together while you were on your business trip.
No way! It is true that this apartment contract is signed under Travis's name, so he can terminate the lease whenever we decided to. But I didn't think that he would actually terminate the contract without consulting to me. I can't be with these crazy people anymore. My mother-in-law Kate seemed to think that if she terminated the contract for this apartment, I would give up.
Now, you have no choice but to move in with us.
But I will never ever give in. I don't want to.
What are you talking about? You're his wife, so you have to.
You're saying that if you're the wife, you have to, right?
Yes, exactly.
Then I'll divorce him.
Huh?
When I said I wanted a divorce, Travis sounded dumb.
Now, wait a minute. You're saying you want a divorce, but are you serious?
I wouldn't be saying this if I wasn't serious. I'm just fed up with you and your family. Let's just separate and live our own lives separately. Then Travis's face turned blue and he was being speechless. Then, Anne and Ashley, who had been watching what was going on, suddenly snapped.
Wait a minute. I won't allow you for the divorce.
That's right. If you don't come and live with us back at home, Who is going to take care of our father?
Huh? Taking care of your father? When I said that, Ashley made a face that said oops. Oh, I see. So that's what you were aiming for when you all suddenly tried to make me live together with you all. Apparently, my father-in-law had fallen down the stairs recently and was in need of nursing care. All of the in-laws were panicking that I found out about the whole truth behind their actions. So, what you mean is that you want me to, or you're trying to force me to take care of him, huh? Otherwise, one of you have to do it. For those of you who are too selfish and only think about yourselves, taking care of other people must be annoying, right?
Huh? Are you trying to insult us when you're just a useless wife?
Oh, that's right. How dare you? You're just a wife. Both of the sisters-in-laws raised their voices. So, I'm not the wife anymore. Did you not hear what I just said? Or are you chickens who forget what happened a few seconds ago so quickly? The more I provoked them, the more emotional both my sister-in-laws became.
That's enough. I don't care.
Why don't you just get a divorce or something? I don't want to see your face ever again.
Anne and Ashley said that, so I said, well, I'll take your words for it, and began to pack my bags. Travis and Kate panicked and told them both by saying, take back what you just said, angrily. I guess that's because they know that they are the ones who will be in trouble if I really go through with the divorce. With this exchange between the in-laws, I gathered up my belongings and started to walk to the front door. Travis and Kate notices and ran up to me.
Wait a minute, Sarah. I'll make them apologize for what they said, so please, let's stop with the divorce nonsense and please just take care of my dad.
Yes, please help my husband. You can finally be a stay-at-home mom too, which will be good for you.
Then I said to my in-laws, who were selfish until the very end, unfortunately, I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. Also, you may not know this, but I have a higher salary than Travis because I have worked my way up in the company. Even the rent of this apartment was quite expensive, but my salary covered most of it. That means that I, whom you made fun of so much, was better than this man, your family member. And that's all I have to say. Well then, goodbye. I left the house, leaving the in-laws, who were all looking shocked, behind. I returned to my parents' house for the time being, and then hired a lawyer and formally demanded a divorce from Travis. Travis looked like he was really down and quietly agreed to the divorce. And as for Anne and Ashley, they were asked by Kate to take care of their father, but they refused and ran away. Plus, it seems like Anne had to pay a large amount of alimony after her husband found out about her affair with another man. As for Ashley, Kate used to wake her up because she used to live at the parents' home, but after she started living alone since she ran away from having to take care of her father, she couldn't get up in the morning by herself and was late every day, so she ended up getting fired at work. And as for Travis, he has returned to his parents' home because Kate persistently asked him to do so because he's the eldest son. But even though Anne and Ashley are having a hard time living on their own, it seems like they're not coming back, so Travis is the one to take care of his father, and he is exhausted from working and taking care of his father every single day. Travis and Kate, who are now stressed out a lot, seems to be fighting constantly, and the neighbors have complained so much that the police has to come to check on them on a regular basis. So most of their neighbors stopped interacting with them, as they were known as the crazy ones from the neighbors. It's really nice to know that all the bad things they have done to me are now coming back to them. Meanwhile, I have started living in a rather nice apartment near my office, and I'm living comfortably all on my own. I think I'm going to find a new hobby since I don't want to be in a relationship for a while. They are all lousy in-laws who push everything onto the wife and making only the wife look bad. Travis was so overbearing even though Sarah's salary was higher than his, and he was so lame. Anne and Kate are both so self-centered that it really disgusted me, but it was refreshing to see that they were making themselves miserable. I hope Sarah finds a new hobby soon. I also wish Sarah a happy life from now on. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. See you in our next video. My name is Laura, and I'm 25 years old. After I graduated from a junior college, I got a job at the department store where I work now. I met my husband Adam at that department store. At the time I started working there, Adam was working at the head office and he was the trainer for the new staff. My first impression of him was that he was quite serious and a strict person. He always kept a very strict eye on the new staffs, and whenever Adam passed by in front of me, I always felt nervous around him. However, when it came to work, he was indeed very good at his work at the head office, and his instructions regarding work were perfect. He was really good at teaching about the work, and I learned a lot from him. I thought he was someone I could rely on as a boss, even though we didn't seem to get along in private. So, I had no idea at the time that we would end up getting married. One day, I made a big mistake at work. I made a small mistake which resulted into a huge loss for the company. At the time, I was only 20 years old and did not have the mental capacity to endure the huge failure, and I thought the only way I could take responsibility was to quit the company. And then Adam, who was my boss, came to the rescue. Adam came over to my house, where I had taken a few days off from work due to the depression, and encouraged me on my doorstep.
You're still a new staff here, and it's only normal to worry about it. But what do you think a trainer like me is there for? It's to help you grow up and do your job freely. A person who doesn't fail at all can't be strong and can't grow. I'll take the responsibility for you, so don't be depressed forever. Show your energy again and do your job with dignity.
I broke down and cried nonstop. Thanks to these words from Adam, I was able to return to work. From then on, Adam went from being just my boss to someone who I admired. I worked very hard to learn my job and to earn his recognition as soon as possible. Seeing me like that, he praised me in front of everyone, which motivated me even more. In about 2 years, I quickly became the ace of the department store where I worked. From then on, I spent more and more time working alone with Adam, exchanging opinions about the sales floor, and we gradually grew closer to each other. Then one day, he confessed his feelings for me, and we started to go out with each other. After 3 years of dating, he proposed to me, and we got married. I never thought that after 5 years, I would marry Adam. You never know how life will turn out. After we got married, we bought our own home with a mortgage loan. I think it was because we both worked for a major department store that we were able to get approved for the mortgage loan and purchase the house. We were thrilled with our new home and were always happy. After we were married, we continued to work for the same company, and everyone at work told us we were the perfect couple and even got jealous about it. We were, of course, happy to hear about what people had said about us. But because of this, we also didn't want to be a bad example. So, we put more effort into our work than ever before and produced good results. Then, late last year, I finally got pregnant. I enjoyed my married life with Adam, whom I love very much, but I was even happier to think that we were going to add a new family member to our family, and I felt like I was at the peak of my happiness. But there was just one problem. It was about my job. At the time, I had already been working at the department store for 5 years, and my work performance had been very good, so I had been given the job of a store manager. Since I was in a very important position at work, I wondered if it was okay for me to quit my job and concentrate on giving birth. I was worried that I was being too selfish. But my morning sickness was already getting worse, and the time limit was approaching. I discussed the matter with Adam, and as a result, we decided that it was best for me to quit work. While I felt sorry for the company, Adam would say,
I will support the company and work enough for you too. I'll make more money and you don't have to worry about anything. Just concentrate on your pregnancy.
And encouraged me like he had done before when I made the huge mistake previously. His words again lifted a weight off my shoulders, and I was able to concentrate on our soon-to-be child. Shortly thereafter, I was hospitalized. Normally, I wouldn't have needed to be hospitalized, but my early pregnancy symptoms were so severe that the doctors decided to keep me under their eyes, just in case. I spent a lot of time alone in the hospital, which was a bit lonely, but Adam came to check on me every day despite his busy schedule, which gave me a peace of mind. Then, after about 3 months in the hospital, I was able to come home. Adam, who took the trouble to get paid leave for the day, drove to pick me up, and I returned home for the first time in a long time. My home felt somewhat fresh after my long absence, but at the same time, it felt strange. I thought something was different, and after looking around the house for a while, I noticed something. For some reason, all of my personal belongings that had been in the living room had been moved to my room. I questioned Adam about it, but he only replied vaguely, as if he was uncomfortable with the situation. As I was wondering why he had that reaction, the doorbell suddenly rang. Who could it be at a time like this? As I opened the door, I saw my mother-in-law, Christine. I wondered why she was here at a time like this. I had just gotten out of the hospital, and I wanted to spend at least one day alone with Adam. But I couldn't just turn her away. After I opened the front door, Christine took off her shoes and went into the living room as if it was her own house, without even greeting me. Then, Christine finally notices me as she saw me coming back from the front door and said,
Oh, what are you doing out of the hospital? I didn't hear that you came back.
Oh, I'm sorry, Christine. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to inform you. I was discharged from the hospital.
Christine gave me a bored look and said, You could have stayed in the hospital longer,
and began to relax in the living room. I got closer to Adam and asked, What is she doing here? Adam didn't seem to understand why I was being confused, and simply replied,
Oh, my mother has been coming home a lot lately.
For my part, I wanted to ask him why Christine was coming over and relaxing as if it was her house. I decided to ask Christine directly because Adam was too thick.
Christine, I just got out of the hospital, so I'd like to spend at least today with Adam. Excuse me? I just came here and you want me to leave now? You talk as if this is your own home.
I was a little irritated because that's right. It's my house, and it's Adam and I's house that we both bought together. Christine must have seen me frown for a moment because she began to say,
"What's with that look? This is your house, but it's also our house as well. Do you know that?"
What do you mean?
Ugh, how can you be so ignorant? It was purchased by my son, who is in my family, which means it's ours too. Now, do you understand?
What she was implying was nonsense that I wanted to butt in and say that I didn't know what she was talking about for a minute. But when I tried to argue back, my husband interrupted and said,
Don't complain to my mother too much. She's the one who took care of everything around the house while you were in the hospital.
And began to put the blame on me. I finally decided not to say anything back to him, even though I wasn't really happy with what they said. I didn't want to get sick again and be readmitted to the hospital after having been discharged, and I thought it was true that Christine was indeed supporting Adam while I was gone. However, every day after that, Christine came to our house to do chores. I didn't like it, but I decided not to say anything because by the time I was in my last month of pregnancy, I would be hospitalized again and would have to leave the housework to Christine. It was quite stressful to have her visit so often, but finally, at the beginning of my last month, I was free from this life. One day, when I was preparing for hospitalization, Christine arrived home earlier than usual. I opened the front door to find a surprising sight. I saw Christine, and behind her was a car full of luggages. "Oh, what are all these luggages for, Christine?" Christine replied in a tiresome manner and said,
"Of course, it's our luggages to move in here."
I immediately ran to Adam in the living room and said, "What is the meaning of this? I didn't hear anything about it," and asked him in a strong tone of voice.
Oh, well, that's just the way it is. My mom and the family are moving in here.
Huh? How come I didn't hear anything about this until now? I mean, did you just say your mom and the family? Please don't tell me that there's someone else moving in. Then Christine butts into the conversation.
"My eldest daughter's family of 3 and I are all moving in here and living together. It's already decided, so don't make a hassle about it."
My husband agreed with Christine and strictly tells me,
That's the way it is, so don't disobey my mother.
but there was no way I could be convinced by that. Trembling, I asked Adam, "Why did you decide such an important matter all on your own?" Once again, Christine intervened and said,
"I told you the other day. It's our son's house and it's also our family's house,"
and shouted at me. At this point, I was getting very irritated and said, "Please be quiet, Christine. I am asking my husband." Christine probably didn't think I was going to talk back to her, so she became silent for a while. And I took the opportunity to talk to my husband. "What do you think you're doing for all of them to move in with us? We're even going to have a baby next month. You said this house is for us to live happily as a family, didn't you?" My husband's response to my question was unbelievable.
What's wrong with them moving in? My mother and sister are my family. There should be no problem living together here. There's more people and it's rather lively and fun, isn't it?
You are the only one to think that it's fun because you're related by blood with your mother and sister. But for me, I'm not related by blood with them. And it's like 4 strangers suddenly came to my house all at once. How am I supposed to think that this is fun?
Oh my god, shut up. This is my house. What's so wrong of me to have my own family over to my house?
I can't believe that you're saying this. Remember, you and I bought this place together, you know? You can't be the only one to decide about these things. In the end, time passed with neither of us giving in. I was aware that Adam was family-oriented, but this was beyond what I had expected. This was the first time I realized that Adam was a mama's boy to an unbelievable degree. If he was like this even before our child was born, I lost all confidence in my ability to go on being married to him as a family. I made up my mind right then and there and said this to Adam. All right. If you want to live with your mother and your sister and her family, I won't say anything more about it. But in return, I'll leave. With that, I went out and hurried to the town office to pick up the divorce papers. I returned home, stood in front of Adam once again, and confronted him with the divorce papers. I can't do this with you anymore. Let's get a divorce. Adam was surprised that I requested for a divorce since he didn't expect that out from me. He stood frozen in front of the divorce papers for a few seconds, and then, as if in a flash of realization, he opened his mouth and said this.
What are you going to do when we get divorced? How are you going to support your child if you don't even have a job?
Adam looked at me with a smug look on his face as if he had said something satisfying for him. His smug face looked just like Christine's, which made me even more angry. Just sign the divorce papers. My husband snickered at my anger and signed the divorce papers.
Are you sure? Now we're in a position to get a divorce, but it's you who's going to be in big trouble, right?
Great, he finally signed it. Now, it's my turn to fight back from here. Hey, aren't you forgetting something important? My father runs an apartment rental business.
Oh!
That means I don't have to worry about getting a place to live. Plus, I'll get child support from you. Oh, and I almost forgot. If you and your family are going to continue to live in this house, you have to pay me half of the value of this house.
What?
My husband seemed to finally realize the situation he was in. His face turned pale as he looked at me. Well, I guess we won't ever see each other again, but take care. I'll be contacting you through my lawyer from now on. Adam was in shock that he slumped down on the spot. Christine, who was listening to our conversation, must have understood that Adam had to pay a large sum of money. She stood frozen with a moving package in each hand. I ignored them both and left the house. After that, it was just a matter of time. We went through the divorce with property division and so on. My father let me live in one of his spare rooms, a slightly nicer, more expensive one, for the sake of his own child and his grandchild. And thanks to the money I got from the divorce, I didn't have to work after the baby was born, which allowed me to spend plenty of time with my child. The baby was so sweet, and I enjoyed being with him every day. By the way, about Adam, I heard an interesting story from a colleague from my department store days. I heard that Adam has been living in that house with Christine and his sister and her family since then, but supposedly his sister's children are noisy, Christine and his sister are spending the money away, and they are running out of money, which causes constant stress to him, and he is also exhausted at work and is pretty depressed all the time. As a result, he started making a lot of mistakes at work and was finally labeled as a useless person and sent to a department where there was little work to be done. Furthermore, the salary at the new department is lower than the old one, making his life even more difficult and causing him to suffer mentally. This is what he deserves. On the other hand, after 2 years of spending plenty of time with my child, I was able to get a job at another major department store because of my skills from the previous work experience. The pay is about the same as my old job, but I can finish work earlier in the evening so I can drop off and pick up my child without any problems. I am now working hard and doing my best to raise my loving child. I would like to praise myself for deciding to divorce my ex-husband at that time because I decided that I could raise my child on my own without him. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. See you in our next video.